Welcome to Rhythm of Love, the podcast. I'm Clarence.
And I'm Yolanda. We celebrated our 25th wedding anniversary by writing a book together about what it took to get us here.
And in this podcast, we go deeper and break down what we learned along the way. We hope you enjoy and engage.
Comment, share, and subscribe. We'd love to hear what you have to say about what it takes to make relationships last.
Yes, we will.
How you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling pretty good. How about yourself?
I am feeling good.
This is a new experience for us.
It really is. And now we have absolutely no audience. Usually we have somebody watching us live.
Usually we do. This is talking, and this is just you and me.
This is just you and me, babe.
This is just you and me. And maybe next time we'll do it live on Twitch so that those people can see it. Since those are kind of people who kind of got us.
Yes, but we need them to view us on YouTube or listen on Spotify and like and subscribe and comment and all those things.
All those things.
We'll talk about that. But welcome to episode 2, everyone, of the Rhythm of Love, the podcast. As you can see, here's the book here. The Rhythm of Love.
So silly. So last time we were coming to you live from California in the San Fernando Valley. This time we are coming to you live from our home. So we, within the last 2.5
weeks,
2.5, 3 weeks. Has it been 3 weeks? It hasn't been 3 weeks.
It might have been 3. It'll be 3 weeks by the time
this airs. By the time this is available, it'll be 3 weeks.
Yes, from our actual recording of the first episode.
Right. So we built a studio in our home. Built is too strong a word. We rearranged some furniture so that we could have a studio in our home.
Yes.
Where we could record this.
Yes. So that's how committed we are to sharing our story with you, everybody.
Yes. So as you know from the previous episode, the purpose of this is to review the book that we wrote that Yolanda just kind of brought up. So The Rhythm of Love, 25 Things That 25 Years of Marriage Taught Us. We wrote this book a couple of years ago, and we've been going around town and the country at this point talking about it because we thought it was cool and we thought it was good advice for young couples as well as for people who have been married a long time and
going through some of the same things we went through.
Want to feel part of a community.
Yes,
that's what we call it. Feel part of a community.
Yes.
So, as Yolanda stated last time, the way the book is written is each chapter is kind of written from an individual's point of view.
Right. Yes.
And even though it's written from the individual's point of view, the other person got a chance to read it, but they didn't get a chance to make changes to it. They could edit it for grammatical things or for flow, but they couldn't edit it for context or character.
Content, substance, right.
Yes. So this show is our opportunity to kind of give each other feedback on parts of the book that the other person wrote.
Or to expound more on what the one person, what yourself wrote.
Correct.
Yourself, oneself.
At least that's where we are now.
That works.
Who knows what this will be at the end by this time next year? But that's where we are now.
We're hoping we can have some interaction with people who are watching. Maybe they'll send in questions or scenarios or comments that we can respond to. That would be awesome if you're watching this on or listening to this on a streaming app that will allow you to comment. Please do so. We'd love to hear from you.
And we will respond.
And we definitely will respond as long as you're not trolling. And then we'll pick and choose which trolls we're going to respond to.
Fair enough. So last time she asked me the questions. So this time I'm going to ask you the question.
Okay.
For you out there, it's her. For her, it's you.
It's me.
I'm going to ask you the questions. So what are some aspects of this book that I wrote that you want to expound upon, or that you want me to, or you want to address?
I actually want to address an overall theme that I think, as you can see by all my, what are these called? Post-its throughout.
Sticky notes.
An overall theme that I thought came out of the book, and that was kind of a little bit of a revelation, I guess, in terms of, where we started and where we have ended up.
Okay.
And I think so the overall theme I want to talk about today is trust.
Okay.
And not the kind of trust of like, I trust that you won't cheat on me, or I trust that you won't, leave me or steal the money or things like that.
Okay.
Because that kind of trust actually came easy for me because, you were a pretty trustworthy guy in terms of honesty, in terms of generosity and things like that. Where I think that we had our disconnect in the beginning, was I didn't trust you with like myself, my person. Like since then, I've learned so much about myself in what I need in terms of words of affirmation, in terms of a certain level of gentleness with me and with my feelings and with my, the thoughts that I share. And I think that I, didn't have that in the beginning.
So let's take a step back, because I hear the words you're saying, but the people in the audience getting what I would consider the 10,000 foot view of what this actually means, or how this actually
help me bring it down to the.
I'm going to ask you.
Sure.
So when you say, you didn't trust me with yourself, give me some examples of what that meant.
With my self-esteem, with my, okay, so you were, that's why I use the word gentle, because I think that you have some roughness about you, which is, not at all any kind of a strike against you. It's just, for me, I realized when you would say things that were not so gentle, when you might disagree with me in just a flat out, what are you talking about? Or that doesn't make any sense. Those kind of things that I would take it to heart, as opposed to just, we're just having a conversation and he's expressing what he thinks. I would internalize it and take it to be like, this must mean he thinks what he thinks about me, this must reflect what he thinks about me as a person. I'm a person who doesn't make sense, or I'm a person who doesn't make wise choices. When you were really specifically talking about a situation, more times than not. And so that's what I mean in terms of being that it made me not trust that I could be vulnerable with you. And so that, and that impacts other things. Impacted our sex life sometimes especially after the first baby was born. And, it was hard for me to have a disagreement with you. And I think we talk about that definitely in the book. And I would hear judgment. I would hear that, you're not a good mom if you think that that's what we should do.
So okay. So let me delve into that, because
please.
We had this conversation unrelated to this about what judgment actually means.
Yes.
So what is trying to understand and get to the true meaning or the definition, not Webster's, but how people
how it plays out in real life.
And it plays out that anytime someone disagrees with you, or anytime someone brings not you,
right, some people,
anytime someone says, I don't think this is good, or I don't like this, that constitutes definition wise as a judgment. And what I said to you was, that leaves no room for observation. That leaves no room for just being able to say what you see.
Right. I think the specific example had to do with a person who wasn't able to answer a certain kind of math problem, and they were a college student, right?
So yes. Thank you. Okay. All right. So I watched this. I was watching this video on Twitter. I'm gonna let you guys know. Because that's my second home. Twitter is my second home.
It's his second home, y'all.
I don't care if Elon. He can call it X. X is someplace else.
Right.
Twitter
we don't know what X is. Yes.
So I'm watching this video, and the guy asked the girl a question. I even think I can recall the question. He said, "You are 2 years old and your brother is half your age. How old will your brother be when you turn 100? That was the question that he asked the college student. And she
kept saying 50.
She said 50. Originally she said 50. And then he said, because that's the catch. He's going to catch her with that
half your age thing.
Right. So he said, okay. No, really, let's walk through this. And he walked through this step by step.
3 or 4 times.
For 4.5 minutes. And she never got the answer. And I said, as a college student, you're supposed to know that answer, or you're supposed to figure that out. And some people came for me on Twitter saying, not everybody does well with word problems. Not everybody does, processes on the fly. He came at her too quickly.
Mic in her face,
and
blah, blah, blah.
I get that for the first 45 seconds. Maybe even for the first minute and a half. But at some point, your processing has to kick in of how.
If he's taking the time to break it down,
he broke it down. He was like, okay, so
think about it.
Right.
When you're 2,
how old is your brother? And she was like, he's 1. So if you're 100, how old is your brother?
Now, he wasn't a teacher. He wasn't using any kind of
He wasn't using any type
pedagogy or, he wasn't teaching her anything, but he was trying to make the question as simple as possible.
And so the woman on Twitter said that I was judging that girl.
Because you said that she should know
this. And I said, that's not a judgment. That is a legitimate observation. She's a college student. She should know that level of computation. Otherwise, what are we doing? What are we doing at that point? What are we doing
in school? What are we doing in school? What are we learning?
What's happening? I understand the emotion of being caught off guard.
Yeah,
I get that. I get the issue of maybe you're not a visual learner. You can't visualize it in your head. Right. So you might need to write it down. I get all of that.
But she didn't have anything to write it down. She never did.
She got a phone. She should know that. She's got a phone. And you should know that about yourself, or stop putting yourself on camera to look silly. Those are you
see what I'm saying, y'all? He's a little bit rough around the edges.
Stop putting yourself on camera if you can't figure that out. The moment he asked you that question, you should have said, I don't do word problems, and walk away. I don't do word problems.
And just walk away.
Math is not my strongest
subject. Yes.
And walk away. What's she studying?
You know,
and she'll be the person, and she'll be the person at the dentist office, not able to reconcile my bill, telling me how much I owe, and I keep telling her I paid it. That's a job she'll end up in.
Ooh, I hope not.
So we had an issue with the dentist. We had an issue with the dentist.
Yes, that is a legitimate issue where our dentists and their billing practices are just
ridiculous,
atrocious. Yes, and you can't get a straight answer anytime you call.
No, you can't. Okay, so
that was the question. That was the launched us into a discussion about what is judgment.
What is judgment?
Is it judgment to say you should know this,
right?
Without saying, you should know this. That means she's dumb. You should know this, right? You didn't say that means she's dumb. You didn't, qualify her as a person. You just said you should know this,
right?
And people were coming for you saying that was judgmental to say. And I mean, yeah.
And to me, the same principle
applies to us,
especially very early on in my marriage. The things that I thought.
Right. And I'm gonna own that I heard judgment. I can't say you intended judgment or whatever. I'm saying how I took it. That it would be judgmental or that you were making a statement about me if you were making a statement about what I said or what I did or a decision I made or that I didn't call you when I was out late at night. Studying with
she wasn't studying. Let me tell
a lot of times I was studying.
Let me tell y'all about the time we were in school and she went to the Final Four with Classy T. And
Classy T is gonna be mentioned in every episode.
Every episode we mentioned
Classy T.
She went to the NCAA tournament with Classy T.
Was it? I don't think it was Classy. Was it Classy T?
Yeah, it was Classy T. It was Classy T.
Wasn't it my roommate? My other roommate? Okay, all right. Apparently it was you, Classy T.
She went with y'all.
Write in the comments if it was not you.
She went with y'all.
Okay.
If you're talking about Cheryl, she went with y'all. Yes.
And now we're using, that is his first name.
That's you know how many Cheryls there are in this world?
Many. But if people look back into the history of me, they'll know which one it is. Cheryl. Look at my Facebook page.
To the NCAA games. I watched the games on TV because I had to work that day. When I came home from work, we were quasi living together. When I came home from work, I watched the last game, which went off at about 10 o'clock, maybe even 11 o'clock. It was the last, you know how the games go. They got 4 games on that first weekend. She rose up in the house about 4:30 in the morning, and I'm thinking, I don't know what's going on, but I don't say nothing.
No, he doesn't. He plays it cool. I had a single red rose.
Some man gave her a rose. And the reason I know is because when I got up to go to work the next day, it was on the desk. And when I called her from work later on, I said, if you're going to be out to 4 o'clock in the morning, can you please just call and let me know?
And that was just the first time he had to ask me that. I think that was the first time. You had to ask me that a lot.
I mean, so.
See, that gets back to my trust. Like, I didn't, and maybe trust, I'm using trust like too broadly.
Okay.
But I didn't believe that you cared or that, I believed that you were trying to control me as opposed to
not saying anything.
No. By wanting me to call.
Okay.
The not saying anything, I was like, dang, he not gonna say nothing. I come in here late because we had hung out with some, we had gone to the lobby of the hotel where some of the teams were staying.
Listen to this. This is not the first time I'm hearing this, so I know this.
We never went upstairs. We were just in the lobby, hanging out, talking, having a good time with the players. And honestly, I don't remember how I got a rose. I guess somebody was just trying to be sweet.
It was some dudes from the University of Minnesota.
Look, listen to, all right, he's the detail keeper
some dudes from the University
in our
of
relationship.
Minnesota.
I can never say, you lying, because half the time I don't remember.
The question I asked was any of them named Vashawn Leonard?
That's
Because
the one you would have been worried
he got
about.
a chance to go pro. The rest of them dudes ain't got no shot. That's the dude I'm concerned about.
And that he might snatch me up.
He got a chance to go pro. So, and he ended up going pro.
But it wasn't him.
It wasn't.
It wasn't
You said,
him.
oh,
It's
no,
not
he
who
wasn't
we
there.
hang out with him.
So,
we were hanging out with the scrubs.
With the bench riders.
I made you feel better.
I was safe. I was safe at that point. I was totally safe.
That's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to react a little bit like, oh, something, ask a question. How did this rose come into play?
It's just that's a topic
we just
for
went
another
on with our
conversation.
life.
It's I got lots of other things to worry about, and I can't do nothing about it anyway. That's always been my position, and you know that.
Yes. If somebody can be taken from you, then they can be taken.
Right.
Yeah, it's no amount of conversation rules that you can put in place that's going to keep them from being taken. Looking at their phone,
They're going to be gone.
They're going to be gone.
They're going to be gone. So okay,
so what I'm saying is, your lack of reaction, your lack of emotion about the fact that I had been out. I guess, you were playing it cool at that time. You didn't want to act like it was a big deal. And it probably wasn't a big deal. No, right. We were just in college dating.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
we were far, far, far from married.
We were 3 years from married.
But
2.5 years.
we might have been in time, but neither one of us knew that at that moment. Thought we weren't thinking that. We weren't saying that we love each other. We weren't in love, any of those things at that point. So, but, so the way I took it was he just wants to control me. Like,
so that's why I'm asking you to call.
Right. That's why you're asking me to call.
Okay.
Supposedly there's this concern for my safety.
Always.
I just want to know that you're okay, kind of thing. I don't know. That gets into my time blindness and things like that, where it's just, I'm not, I'm in the present moment. When I'm doing something, I'm in that moment.
So that's in the book. It's a whole chapter called Time Will Reveal, which is based on my getting to understand about her time management versus my time management and how they differ. We'll talk about that a different episode, but
yes,
but that's a different episode. Yeah,
right.
But
I don't have an accurate internal clock.
Correct.
That is ticking and reminding me that things are like, if I want to, well, we won't talk about the time because we'll talk about that another time. Yes. I mean, I guess we can. I don't think I have a whole episode of. You might have a whole episode. You'll run out of
time. You won't even remember how much longer. You just keep talking. You just keep talking. Time won't even matter to you. Next thing you know,
are you watching the time right now?
Yes, I am.
We need a timer in here.
I've been watching the time.
I know. I want, but for me, that would help me to have a timer in here counting down or counting up or whatever.
That's the time.
But anyway, yes, it was your motives, like why you would want, because now I know that it would have been nice to hear you say, I'm concerned about you in a gentle way. When you're not gone, I think about you is, as opposed to you just going to be gone. You ain't thinking about me. You know what I mean?
But that's not what I said. I never said you're not thinking about.
I'm talking about. Okay. I'm talking about over time. Because remember, I said that was just the first time that you had to ask me.
You're right.
So in terms of that particular thing, yes. understanding your motive, and sometimes understanding your motive of other things. Like, he wants to look like the good guy here, yes, I was born to a very cynical mom. So
sorry about that, LB. Sorry about that, LB.
If you listen. So yes, sorry about that. She has, she's been cynical about people and about people's motives and who you can trust. That's always been, that's how I was kind of raised. And so even though I said I do and said I would marry you, I didn't have that trust built up already. Again, we could say so many times how us being as young as we were when we got married affected us. And I think that was one of the things that I just hadn't developed the idea of how important trust was, or what trust was, or how I would know that a person was trustworthy beyond, like I said, your honesty and your, day-to-day consistency and things like that. I still, as a person who receives love through words of affirmation, needed those words on top of that to be like, I want this from you because I love you, because it helps me feel love when you call me, when you're not with me. And that makes me feel like you love me because you're thinking about me while I'm gone. And I keep harping on this one example, but, it did play out in multiple ways. Right. So I don't know that I have a lot more to say about that, but it did just really take some time and some, your dad likes to say that the reason that we've stayed together so long is because we talk about everything.
He does.
He likes to say that, and partially that's true. But there was a lot of times that there were things that went unsaid between us. There was the silent treatment times where
that's usually me.
One of us, and I didn't, I played my role where I would be upset with you and I wouldn't want to say why. And I think it all rolls back to, he's going to judge what I think. He's going to say that, somehow I'm going to be wrong in this. And so I think developing our ability to have those tough conversations where, we disagree with what the other thinks, but we're able to say it gently. Like, that's another thing we say in the book is how we would go out to eat. There was a certain place when we first married, we lived in Durham, North Carolina. Cool. And there was a certain place. Was it
K&W?
K&W Cafe or something like that. Yeah. It was like a cafeteria style place. You take your tray through and get the food and blah, blah, blah. But we had one conversation there that went really well. And I think it just helped that we were kind of in a forced situation of you got to be nice to each other. You're in this restaurant. There are people around. You don't want to fight. You don't want to storm out. We only got one car that got us here, so you can't just leave. It wasn't in walking distance to our house, so you can't just leave. And we talk about, that makes me think about how us, period, just living in Durham, North Carolina, away from our family and friends, really made it so we only had each other to lean on. That makes a difference where you can't run to your family so easily. You can't, spend the night at your boy's house because you're upset. Like, we had to come home to each other, and we really only had each other to lean on. We made friends, but it wasn't people that we had any kind of lifelong, attachment to. So we weren't running to them when we had problems.
Yeah, we have lifelong attachments to them now.
At that point, we had just gotten to know them in the short time that we lived there. So I think, that of having those gentle conversations where, not that we were ever name callers or we never cursed at each other, even at our most upset. But, it was just we were actually having a conversation about what's the problem? Why do you feel the way you feel or think the way you think? Why? And each of us having a chance to say that and then coming to some kind of resolution. I think it was those gentle conversations over time and, having the consistency of your care for me made me believe that, okay, maybe he just really does just love and care for me. And he's not trying to control me. He's not trying to be the boss. He's not trying to look good to his friends or his family or to other people. So he could tell the story about how she's whack and I'm keeping this whole thing going. I'm the one making the good decisions. So yeah, over time, you praising me and recognizing when I was contributing to the relationship in ways that was helpful or contributing to the house in ways that were helpful or, whatever, just being positive, that consistency over time of giving me those words of affirmation. However, Clarence-sized they were. Because it's always going to come with the Clarenceization.
Yeah, you're right.
Because you're not a mellifluous for about. Let me look that up.
Look that up.
Is that the word I want? It's a word where it means you use flower. A person who uses flowery language.
The word will be listed above my head. It should be right here. I don't know what word she just said, but here it is right here, and we're going to talk about it.
All right. Well, mellifluous means of talking about voice or words, sweet or musical or pleasant to hear.
There you go. It's right there. That's how you spell it.
Wow. Sometimes I'll be pulling just the exact word I want out of my...
Listen, you don't get 1,200 on the SATs for nothing. But apparently not smart enough to marry somebody who only got 900 on theirs,
But you had so many other qualities that the SAT couldn't measure, babe. The SAT couldn't measure your strengths.
Colleges didn't use my strengths.
But
I limped in, but I limped out.
You limped in, but you limped out, and you limped out.
I limped out. But grad school.
You limped into grad school, but then you came out.
I came out of grad school very well. So
anyway, I was just saying, mellifluous. You aren't going to. It's not going to sound poetic, and it's not going to sound so sweet. But you do.
So I mean, I recognize that there's a gruffness to me. I do. I can tell this story when I was about 11 or 12 years old, and me and some friends of ours went to Chuck E. Cheese. My dad took us, and Chuck E. Cheese had preteen nights when I was a kid where you could go, and I'm aging myself, but you pay $5 to get in, and all the pizza you could eat and all the video games you could play for 3 hours.
Wait a minute. How do you get this?
How did I get what?
Wait, I missed something. We talking about Chuck E. Cheese?
Yeah. So when Chuck E. Cheese first started out, they had video games in there.
Yeah. They still have games, yeah.
So they would close that. There's a Chuck E. Cheese where we used to live, not too far from where we used to live. They would close it down on Friday night for the teens, the preteens to be able to come in. You pay $5.
You know what? I'm pretty sure I did that.
And you could play all the video games you want and eat all the pizza you want and drink all of the soda that you want.
I don't know.
Until it was time to go. But at the end of the night, me and my friends come out. My dad comes to pick us up. and he probably remembers the story. And he wanted to play. I'm not sure. You know, my dad, he can be playful. He wanted to play. So we would walk up to the car and get to the handle.
And he would drive away. Right.
And so we chased him. You know, we chased him I chased him the first 2 times. They kept chasing him. After that, I said, I can walk home. I know exactly how to get home from here. I can walk.
Did you have an attitude?
I did. And I had an attitude.
How dare you?
And then
play this stupid game with me. So he
stopped and they all got in. And now they waiting on me to catch up to them because I'm walking. Because I'm not running after this car no more. So I know that I can have
a short fuse.
A shortness to how much I'm willing to tolerate. My father told me you got to loosen up. I was 12 years old.
And I said that to you just the other day. Yeah. So we still saying it. It's got to loosen up. Yes.
So, but I say that to say, it has been hard for me over the years to realize that what I say substantively is just as important as how I say it.
Yeah.
And that is something that I had to learn because in my mind,
sometimes
I'm saying
not even as important.
If you would just listen to what I'm saying, I'm actually saying good stuff to you. But you're getting caught up in the fact that it's not coming out mellifluously. Yeah.
It's gonna be up there again. Okay.
So, and you know, I had to learn that. So,
yeah,
I'm better at that now. At times, not all the time, but at times.
Yes, and you know, I definitely can see the improvement. Most definitely.
So,
and it helped us.
So we good on trust now? You trust me now? I mean, at this point, I'm not sure.
27 years in.
I'm not sure. I mean, worse things have happened to people. So let me get it on the record.
Yes.
Let me get it on the record.
Yes. I trust you with myself.
Oh.
Yes. Because that's where we started.
Yes.
Like I wasn't a matter of I never trusted you. I always trusted you not to walk out on me.
You trusted me to do the right thing.
Right. I trusted you to do the right thing.
Just not for you.
For me or to me. I don't know what's the best way to say that.
Right.
Because the good thing that I was craving.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The mellifluous words of affirmation.
We might have to come up with a word of the day.
Word of the show. Word of the week. Word of the episode.
I challenge you to use that word in a sentence this week. So we got that's an entirely
point
new
system.
We gotta
put it in the comments.
Put it in the comments.
If you use the word and how you used it. What was the scenario?
Just write the sentence down. That's the easy way to do it.
Yes.
The sentence down that you used that word this week. And
challenge.
We'll figure out. Maybe we can find out some prizes or something we can give away. We work out with some prizes. Black Girl Gamer gave me some good ideas for how to give out some prizes.
Okay. Nice. That's another Twitch personality. Black Girl Gamer.
One of my favorites.
Girl spelled GURL.
Yes. And black spelled BLK.
Oh, okay. And this gamer spelled GAMR.
Yep.
Okay. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to find Black Girl Gamer on Twitch.tv, she's a good streamer.
So I want to make sure we do some housekeeping because I want to, you know, I'm looking at the time and we're good on time. Let's do a couple of things of housekeeping. So we're going to put this up. Please make sure you check out the previous episodes, or if you want to see any other episodes, they're available as well. We are now on all platforms except for Apple. We're still working on getting on Apple. Apple has been the long pole in this tent, but everybody else, we're on all the major platforms, and we will be putting this out every week.
We're going as close to every week as we possibly can.
So, and let's see.
Even if it's just something short. If we got to keep it short, we try to put out something every week.
And you can always check us out on Sunday nights.
Yes. Twitch.tv/DJC Sharp.
I have been considering changing that so that we could, so it could be lined up with this.
CYL. Uh-huh.
But I haven't done it yet. But we'll see.
Because you built a whole following behind DJ C Sharp. Yeah.
So come there. We have a show called Heartbeats in the Basement where we play some slow jams and talk. We want to hear you. We want to check you out and see what you got to say. You can put requests in the chat. And we play games with music, getting down to who is the number one. Who was the number one? Falsetto.
We had the falsetto contest.
That was a tough battle.
We had to repeat it because the wrong person won. Now we don't vote for them. The audience vote for them. But we let people use points that time.
One of the people in the audience, Keisha Key, put her finger on the scale.
Like a bug.
Keisha Key and LaDawn, they put their finger on the scale and tipped it. And tipped the scales.
And Switch won.
So, but the point is, come and check us out. So we had to run that back.
But yes, it's more fun on Sunday night. Yes. We don't get down to the itty bit.
Usually, but
what is it? Nitty gritty.
But there's always Twitter conversation. So
yes.
Because, like I said, my second home.
Yes.
I don't pay for a subscription. You can pay for it to get a blue check mark, but
you don't need no blue. Anybody who has a blue check mark, I'm suspect of them. I don't.
It didn't used to be that way.
Yes, blue check mark meant some, verified. Now it just means I'm willing to pay.
Yeah, it just means
and all their comments are at the top, and they ruin. Do not get a blue check, babe, because they ruin all posts.
I heard
most of them.
I followed a guy who said he went and got his blue check mark because he wanted to check out the value of it, like what it does. It was specifically just for that reason.
Research.
He only did it. He said, "I'm only going to do this for 2 months, and then I'm going to be reporting back to you guys." And he reported back. He said, first thing is the responsiveness of the app is much better when you got a blue check. So they're throttling you when you don't have a blue check.
Yeah.
So all the problems that you might have, you don't have those problems. He says, of course, they increase your character limit from whatever
so you can write a whole
like
story.
240. Now, you're up to like 4,000 characters that you can write.
I mean, like, that's dumb.
Which takes the entire purpose of
Twitter it's no right. Now you're definitely in X territory at that point because who's going to read your 4,000 word tweet? Nobody.
And your tweets get priority, which you already know.
Which you can see is so clear.
They get priority, yeah.
So, even though you're just a mean old nobody who wants to troll Jemele Hill or whoever,
who doesn't have a check.
But she gets trolled. Like I already know if I see her tweet, I'm not going to look at her comments. I'm just going to look at the tweet and, come to my own conclusion about how I feel about it. Maybe retweet, maybe quote it, but I ain't checking them.
I like
mentions.
Jemele.
Her mentions are atrocious.
I think Jemele's book is right there.
Yeah, I see it. Uphill.
Uphill. Jemele's Hill.
Yeah.
Jemele Hill, your book is right there.
We listen to your podcast too. Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent podcast.
So, but we want to thank everybody for coming and checking us out this week. We'll be back in in next week.
Yes. That's the goal.
In our new studio that is still kind of a work in progress. We got it up and going now, but
each week you'll see something different. Right. Because right now we're trying this out.
Hopefully we'll get a couple more cameras that we're still working out. We haven't gotten those up yet. We'll get those other cameras up so we can make this a little bit cleaner and a little bit more professional. But we can knock this one out. I appreciate it.
Yes. Boom.
All right. We gotta. If you guys can help us come up with a call signal to get off air, peace and soul. That's already taken. We can't take that. So we got to come up with a sign off to help us get out of here. So we appreciate you guys.
Yes. Thank you.
God bless you.
You got the
look of love?
Look. Well, it's supposed to be Rhythm of Love. I started singing the wrong song.
Yeah,
that was A Look of Love.
Yeah, that's The Look of Love. That's a different song.
But
anyway.
Let me not try to sing an Anita Baker song anyway.
Ever.
It's
Ever.
like that.
Ever.
Yeah, come to our Twitch Sunday night where I do sing.
Yes, you do. All right.
All right.
I'm out of here.
Take care.
We hope you've enjoyed another exciting episode of Rhythm of Love, the podcast, hosted by Clarence and Yolanda Lewis.
Theme song by Kendra R.
Graphics by Rihanna Denise.
More information is available at cYLentertainment.com.
Please join us on Sunday nights for our live stream on twitch.tv/DJC Sharp.